Hello, all my friends around the world, and welcome to the Games of Canada for June of 2020. I'm Marc Power, and I hope you're all holding up well as the world continues to battle the COVID-19 crisis, and hopefully soon we will win this battle. Anyway, but because I don't want to come off as a downer, let's forget about all the problems for a moment and talk about Canadian game shows from the past, because that's what we do around here. So it's time to go in our minds, since there's too many travel restrictions right now, to La Belle Provence and talk about a trivia and strategy game show that I consider to be a hidden gem. The name of that show is Ultimatum.
Ultimatum was a French-speaking game of knowledge and strategy that aired on the TVA network based out of Montreal from 2001 to 2004. The host of the show is actor and local TV personality Yvan Ponton. Yvan is arguably best known for his role in the cult classic film Slapshot as Jean-Guy Douin, and he does a terrific job. And the presentation is really cool as well. It's clearly inspired by Millionaire, which had come out around the time the show debuted. The rules are going to sound a little bit confusing as I start to explain them, but when you see it played out, it all makes sense. 5 contestants play for the entire week. To begin each game, the contestants are staked with 3 lives and 3 strategies. A player chosen at random on the Monday show, or the winner of the previous game, starts out as the controller. The controller chooses one of 12 categories from the board, each containing up to 3 questions. A question is read, and the controller chooses one player to challenge. The player they challenge can then either use one of their strategies, which will direct the question to somebody else, or they can opt to just answer it. If the player does use a strategy, the third player is in an ultimatum situation and must answer. If a player answers the question incorrectly, they lose a life. If a player answers a question correctly, the player who challenged them loses a life. Once the player loses all 3 lives, they're out of the game. Now, I didn't mention the strategies. There are 3 of them. The first is trap. When the player is in control, they can choose to use the trap to pick another opponent and answer the question themselves. If they answer correctly, the player they chose loses a life. The risk being if they answer incorrectly, they themselves lose a life. The second strategy is mirror. A player can use this when challenged to send the question back to the controller, reversing the roles, or as Yvan would often say, counterattack. And lastly is ricochet. If a player is challenged, they can use ricochet to send the question to a third player. Each of these strategies can be used only once for the entire game. The last player left standing in the game wins $1,000 and moves on to the bonus round. For the first 2 seasons of the show, the winner played against all 4 of their opponents in the bonus game. To begin, the winner would eliminate one of their opponents for each life they held on to during the main game. So if they held on to all 3 lives, it would be a one-on-one game. The winner chooses a category, and then goes into an isolation booth. His or her opponents are then read the question, and have 10 seconds to confer and come up with one answer between them. Once their answer is locked in, the winner is brought back and is asked the same question. If the winner answers the question correctly, they win $4,000. If, however, their opponents answered correctly, then they each win $500, which is reduced from that $4,000 prize. If only the main game losers answered correctly and the winner got it wrong, then they each win $500 from the house. the end of the week, the player who amassed the most money is declared the week's champion and returns for the following week. If there was a tie, then all 5 contestants would return the following week. And this is really weird that they didn't come up with a tiebreaker. That's a system that rivals Wheel of Fortune in its early days, when all 3 contestants would return when there was a tie. But in that case, it didn't happen very often. Here, there's a potential for it to happen quite often. Third season, Ultimatum went through a reformatting, switching to tournament play. The third season consisted of 6 6-week tournaments. During the first 5 weeks of each of these tournaments, 5 players stayed on for the entire week, amassing as much money as they could. During this season, the main game prize was reduced to $500, and the bonus game was scrapped. Instead, the winner would simply get to choose a category and try to answer a bonus question correctly, which, if they got it right, would earn them an additional $1,000. So, the budget was cut back significantly, from a maximum $5,000 payout per show to $1,500. But they made up for it with this tournament format because the 5 winners would then return on week 6 to compete for the championship. And whoever amassed the most money during that championship week won a $40,000 prize. And also, a new tiebreaker was introduced that year. If a tie occurred, the game would go into the final sprint. Yvonne would simply ask a toss-up question, and the first player to buzz in with the correct answer would be declared the winner. It's kind of a generic tiebreaker, but it's better than nothing. This is a show I've really enjoyed. I happen to like quizzers that have a brain and some strategy to it. Yvonne does a great job hosting the show, and the presentation with the Millionaire-inspired Fortress of Solitude-like set, it works really well. And to be honest, I would have loved to have seen an English adaptation of this show, whether in Canada or in the United States. Heck, I would love to see the show revived one day.
So that was Ultimatum, a real hidden gem from Quebec, with a respectable 3-year run. In this day and age, you can't really complain. That's a decent amount of time on TV. And it hasn't affected Yvon Ponton's career at all. He still acts. He still does commentary for tennis matches for RDS, the French equivalent of TSN. And when he's not doing that, he's teaching dramatic arts. I have no idea how he has time to stay that busy, but good on him. That's a great work ethic. It's a rare sight these days. The next time on Game Show Canada, we'll be looking at a kids show. It's called Edible Incredible. And it's appropriate that we call the site Game Show Gumbo because just like in game shows, when you make gumbo sometimes, if you throw too many things in there, you can really mess it up. But I'll talk more about that next month. So for now, until I see you then, please stay safe, everybody. Stay home if you can. And I'll see you next time on the Game Show Canada. Long may your big jib draw.
Become a Patreon backer at www.patreon.com/GameShowGumbo or check out our website www.GameShowGumbo.com. This has been an Impressive production.